On The View with Whoopi Goldberg, there's a lot of complaining and negative energy. At the commercial breaks, it's more negative messaging with things they want us to buy that have side effects, including possible death. When Biden was president, all they did on The View was complain about how terrible Trump was. And now that he's president, they're still complaining about him. On a recent episode, Ana Navarro looked into the camera and said, if you want to change your life, vote Democrat. We're all trained to identify with our environment. What we think and how we feel defines who we are. The View complains about Trump, and then people complain about The View. The only people cashing in on it all are the people trying to sell us something. Welcome. Welcome to Sunday Coffee Hour. I'm Stanley Smith. At Sunday Coffee Hour, we talk about everything and nothing. This Sunday, we talked about celebrating Mother's Day, the best kind of cognac, and finding a new pastor. The readings at Washington National Cathedral were from Acts. We can't be alive to what's already dead in the past. And from Revelations, the nations are below God because he is above them all. The gospel reading was about waking up and continuing your good works. The sermon at Washington National Cathedral was by Jan Cope. Jan preached about Jesus, the Good Shepherd. She asked us what picture comes to mind when we think of the Good Shepherd. Perhaps the 23rd Psalm, or perhaps the picture of Jesus carrying us all to safety. Maybe it's the people in our lives who have shepherded us. Jan said at Mother's Day, we can think about Mom, who shepherded us to school and into this life in so many loving ways. But what about the troubled times we live in now? Who's shepherding us and whose voice are we following? Is it the voice of the Good Shepherd or is it another voice? Who are we following and what does it mean to be Christ-centered? Life in troubled times like this that we live in are challenging and it can be exhausting. Hope is not a denial of reality or a magic elixir. It's small motions which can transform darkness into light. It's like we have two wolves battling in our heart. Which one wins depends on which one we feed and which one we starve to death. Are we feeding good or are we feeding evil? We're meant to be transformed into our true selves in this lifetime, not to be occupied by a warring adversary. Are we occupied by voices that are divisive and dangerous, or are we hearing loving voices? Jan reminded us that we have a new pope, and for many, he's the best known symbol of the shepherd in Christendom. The new pope says he's about building bridges, not walls, and bringing everyone together. The square of St. Peter's is actually an oval. It's not a square at all. It's called one thing while it's doing something else. It's welcoming people in. It's an open place. Frederick Buechner says, we shall not want if we keep our hearts and eyes open. We are assured all is right in the world. Out of many voices, we hear the voice of love, and we can follow that voice. God has created that opening for us. At St. James Cathedral, the sermon was by Christopher Griffin. Chris preached about Jesus, and he wondered, who the crap is Jesus? And what is he offering us? More stuff or eternal life? He's the Good Shepherd. He's our mild-mannered friend to us and to all the nations. But there's nothing happy-go-lucky about being a shepherd. And the world, well, it's a pretty messed up place. Chris said there's a tension between tenderness and getting the job done. All the stresses in our life are not good for our health. We're all in need of intimacy, the intimacy of loving care. We need to be surrounded by voices that are loving and supportive. And we need those voices so we can follow them and model them for others. The gospel reading tells us to wake up so we can continue our good works. Chris said that's what the new Pope is doing. He's saying, wake up, church. We have things to do. There are many competing voices vying for our attention. The church can seem like part of all the noise. If we follow the true voice, it can take us to strange places. None of us want to go to any of those strange places or places we don't want to go. But when we follow the voice, we're already there. And there's nothing strange about it. Churchianity is a word that means perpetuating the conventions of the church. The church has been telling us that things are pretty bad for almost 2,000 years. What happened to all the good news? We get a mild satisfaction of hearing how bad things are and then doing good anyway, as a validation of our sophistication. People who are so dumb to think they're happy, well, those, I guess, are the people we're praying for. We're conditioned by our environment to think what we think and feel what we feel, and then that becomes who we are. If we spend as little time as possible in that reality, then we can raise our emotional intelligence. At church coffee hour, it was always the best part of the Sunday church scene, exiting the gloomy message of the sanctuary and entering into community with others. It's life itself. Maybe there's nothing sophisticated about being happy, but we can do it anyway when no one's watching. If you would like to join us at Sunday Coffee Hour is every Sunday at 12 noon Central Time on Zoom. I will include my email in the description of this video. Be happy to send you an invitation. I look forward to seeing you very, very soon.